All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're doing the best sim drifting on YouTube. Now, a quick note, I prioritize videos with pro cars on comp tracks because that's gonna lay down, as I've said in other videos, that's gonna allow for much better leads because a lead driver has actual places they wanna go, as well as better chases because they're trying to follow the lead car, but they also have clipping points and zones. Starting with probably the people's champ, CToretto. So this is a video him tandem practicing with the eSports drifter. Again, CToretto doesn't do, from what I've seen, he doesn't post a lot of competitive style drifting. It's always kind of him by himself and not even doing much tandem drifting. So this is kind of a unique video. All right, so we got first, second, third, fourth. Handbrake entry in the chase though, that's not a bad decision on this track. This track's really a flick track though. And it was just a quick pull to kind of pivot the car, but you can see he's on a tighter line than him. That's what happens on this track when you do a handbrake pull. If you don't flick it, you don't have the speed to float it out to the edge of the track. Here he corrects himself. He's pretty much now on the same line and hit that outer zone. You gotta remember too, this angle, it's kind of skews everything. So it's a little harder to tell the proximity as well as where he is on zones and clipping points. So here, pretty good, honestly. A little wide there. The lead guy actually did better on the inner clip than CToretto, but I mean, overall, pretty dang good. He's within the clipping point, within the 3 stripes. He'd get most of the points there. Little downshift, nice. So there he kind of floated himself off the wall. Let's kind of see. Yeah, so just way too much handbrake. Again, like I feel like CToretto, he uses a lot of handbrake, and that's kind of his style. He's always going for that like silky smooth style. The better decision in that transition into the wall would be to flick it hard and float it out to the wall, and then use throttle to catch yourself rather than handbraking yourself out to the wall. You saw the lead driver floated it out to the wall. CToretto handbraked himself to the wall. That put him on a tighter line. It's interesting seeing CToretto in pro cars, like you never really see it. Oh, here's another view. So as you can see, he kind of corrected himself there though. Pretty good transition there. About a half a car length to a car length away. The nice thing is he's holding proximity, which is good. Lost him a little bit there. But you can see in the lead driver, he did a little bit of handbrake there, but after he had already flicked and floated it out there. But overall, I mean, pretty dang good job. Let's see how he does on the entry. Second, third, fourth. Again, handbrake entry, and as you can see, that puts him on a tighter line. That really is a flick. And I think that's just something where, you know, maybe no one's telling him that, which is fine, but we're nitpicking a little bit, but it's meant to be helpful. Again, there too, this is a high speed track. You can't get away with a lot of handbrake. You gotta flick and float yourself out to stuff and use throttle to catch yourself. But overall, CToretto is definitely a great drifter, and he's definitely one of the smoothest and really fun to watch. All right, next up, we got Slap Train. I had to put him in here. I know drifting he does so much more than just drifting. It's really not his main focus. Really just about having fun with it from what I can tell. But he is one of the biggest sim content creators and car video game creators. So we gotta put him in. First, right off the bat, he does have handbrake inside the shifter, which I like that, but I still feel like they could be closer. Fatty handbrake entry. That's the thing I keep seeing with the sim drifting, not when we get into like true competitive drifters, which there are a couple in here, but you'll see the difference, you guys. You'll see the difference in the aggression. A lot of these guys that are just kind of more doing it for fun and doing it in street cars, they're slower. They're traveling a lot slower. They're doing more handbrake entries. The cars are set up looser. I think he was thinking about handbrake there and just floating the hand on there and there's some crossover. He's kind of a maniac with the steering wheel. I know he's also trying to have conversation and stuff like that, and this is during a stream, I believe. So that does, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that does make it tough. A lot of times you guys will see me, I get pretty quiet when I'm like really concentrating because I'm trying to use all my brain power, for the task at hand. So you've got to take that with a grain of salt as well. If you're talking during it, it makes it tougher. I mean, just go try it. All right, so next up, we got Victor Alves. There's no way I can make this video without having him in there. So right off the bat, like one of the biggest things is They haven't even entered drifting yet, but look at his proximity just going down the straight. Compare that to like CToretto or Slaptrain. You know, they're starting a couple car lengths back, or even like 6 car lengths back, and then trying to gain that proximity the whole time. Tandem 101, even though I don't feel like it's talked about enough, you have to start with the person. There are tracks where you can gain that proximity, but you're better off just really starting right with them. But what that takes is trust in the lead driver and knowing that he's not gonna spin out and knowing that he's gonna put his car in the right spots. But right off the bat, he started right next to him within a car length, and that allows them to immediately have that proximity. Okay, look at that transition. So he actually transitions a moment before the guy and almost kind of does a straight line effect to gain that proximity. And then floats it right on his door, kind of reaches for the handbrake. I don't even know if he pulled it, but just kind of had his hand there just in case. See, it's interesting though, even with Victor, like, I think that right hand was kind of floating there because he was unsure if he needed to do handbrake or not. When you're that close and you're in chase, like, I'm not gonna harp on you for that. It's kind of like, you're doing everything you can to maintain that proximity, and that is more part of the game. All right, let's see him in the lead. Flick entry, a little bit of a handbrake to kind of pivot the car, but definitely a pretty nasty flick. Nice downshift there. Handbrakes himself out to kind of extend the drift. Like, truly there's nothing wrong with that because he doesn't do unnecessary handbrakes. Like here, manging the straight. Oh, he didn't mange the straight, but. All right, next up, this is a fun one. We got the homie Goosiest. I'm just gonna preface this with, I don't think Goosiest gives one about being the best drifter, best sim drifter, but he's a huge content creator and sim drifter on YouTube, so I had to put him in here. And I thought it would be fun because this was our collab video. If you guys haven't checked that out, please check it out on my channel and on his.
Not pro, question mark, exclamation mark, another question mark.
I gotta say though, Goose is like, he's mainly 2 hands on the steering wheel, which I definitely respect. And handbrake and shifter are in a pretty good spot. Like, I don't know if he can even tighten those up much more. If he could, like, you know, more the merrier.
Beautiful, he's right there as well. Gotta give a little respect to Haugen here as well. Man is keeping up with my horrible lines. Oh god, there's that tricky.
See, Goose, I know you can do flick entries. You definitely are capable of it. And that entry, that should have been just a fat flick back in and around that corner. That would have been sick, like rather than kind of taking the simple safe route with the handbrake. I mean, that's, like, you'll see me crash a lot. It's because I'm pushing myself. I'm trying stuff, seeing what's, you know, possible on these tracks. So, anyways, that's Goosiest. I couldn't find any videos with him tandeming in pro cars. He just likes to have fun. All right, next up, we have Evil Rabbit. Guys, I read the comments. I see some of you have commented, check out Evil Rabbit. So I thought it would make sense to put him in this video. He does a lot of sim drifting. That's not a good example. But this is on a competition track with pro cars, with actually his own pro car. So let's see what he's got. Okay, right off the bat, I like that he's in proper racing shoes. I think that's kind of cool. Side note, guys, all these, like, I don't think anybody but Slaptrain had gloves on. I personally think gloves make such a huge difference. So I would highly recommend getting some gloves and pairing those with like some decent shoes. Don't need to be racing shoes, but like Vans or something like that. Drifting in socks, it's just weird. So he's in the chase. Handbrake entry in the chase. Again, like, to keep the proximity there, like, you can flick with them. I think I kind of go back and forth. There, he kind of missed that outer zone. Let's check that again. So he's on throttle here. Yeah, so again, he just didn't flick it and float it out enough. I just want to say too, a side note, sometimes that can be partly with the tune. I know that in this video, this is a new car for him, I believe, and they made some adjustments. He's still figuring out the tuning. So if the car is kind of too hopped up and too grippy, it might not float like you need it to for this track. So both of them kind of weren't wide enough there. Good there on the outer zone though, and the inner clip. Again on the outer zone, good. Okay, so there, some decent clutch work and full throttle there. So kind of what he did there, that was actually a little bit more advanced technique, is he was kind of slipping the clutch to kind of float it out and then getting on throttle. So it was actually pretty cool to see that. Flick. Just a little too early and not enough speed, but pulled it off. Yeah, a little tight there, but brought it out. Not bad, not bad. It's interesting to see, like, I've never watched Evil Rabbit drift before, but he definitely has some pretty good base mechanics. As far as like what he does with his feet, steering, pedals, handbrake. Also, look at the placement of this stuff. The handbrake could be up a little bit higher, that would be nice, but like the shifter's in a realistic spot, handbrake's between the steering wheel and shifter, like that's super, super proper in my opinion. All right guys, that's all I got for you. Who in your opinion is the best sim drifter or one of the best sim drifters on YouTube right now? Obviously there's probably ones I missed because they may not be as popular. I was just searching Assetto Corsa drift, thinking of ones I knew, ones you guys had commented, but I think it's a pretty good selection. I think this was fun to look at them. So if you guys want more, if you guys want me to check out other sim drifters, comment them below. Guys, these videos aren't meant to be critical. Anyone who thinks that probably isn't watching it at this point, but it's really for you guys to learn, for myself to learn, and just everybody to progress. I just like seeing that. It's fun for me. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me some feedback below. Check out our merch, HaugenRacing.com, and please hit that subscribe button and leave us a like, and we'll see you in a couple days. Peace.